Alright, so I'm going to wisdom from the Rebbe for today. So there was one time that Reb Nachman and Rabbi Yitzchak were sitting over a meal, and Reb Nachman said to Rabbi Yitzchak, "Nu, say a vart." And Rabbi Yitzchak looked back at him and said, "We're not allowed to speak in the middle of a meal. As Rabbi Yochanan told us that you might have your food pipe block your windpipe, and it's a danger." So after they finished eating, Rabbi Yitzchak turned to Reb Nachman and said, "Here's the vart. Yaakov Avinu didn't die." So he asked him back, "What do you mean? It says in the Torah that the Egyptians embalmed him and buried him." So Rabbi Yitzchak responded, "It's true, it says that, but I'm learning from a pasuk. The pasuk says that Yaakov, don't worry, I'm going to save you from the sea and I'll save your children. Just like it says that your children will be okay, so too we see that just like his children are alive, so too Yaakov Avinu is alive. So Yaakov is clearly alive." What's going on over here? During the meal, he was willing to talk and tell him that you're not allowed to speak, and he even told him that I'm learning out this whole idea from a windpipe and food pipe. He could have said, sure, Yaakov Avinu didn't die. And also, what's going on with this answer that he says, he asked him, they buried him, and he answers, I'm learning from a pasuk. Why does that answer the question? So the Rebbe explains that this story in the Gemara is coming in continuation to the idea of miracles. And this is what they were talking here also. Reb Nachman knew that you're not allowed to speak by a meal, but he thought that you're allowed to speak about words of Torah, because Torah protects you. And that's what Rabbi Yitzchak told him back, no, it's the idea of a danger over here. And therefore when it comes to a danger, you're not allowed to rely that Torah will save you. You have to live in the rules of nature. Now in general, the rules of nature, there's two ways of understanding the way you need to have Torah mitzvahs and the rules of nature. Either it's because God doesn't like to break the rules of nature, and that includes for Torah mitzvahs, or specifically about Torah mitzvahs, God wants it to come into the... This is what they were arguing about. The Rabbi Yitzchak called that specifically Torah mitzvahs need to come into the rules of nature, but in general, a Jew is totally higher than nature. And that's why after the meal, he told him that Yaakov Avinu didn't die, meaning a Jew is not limited to nature, even though it appears in nature that way. But Reb Nachman said, no, that's not true. As we find that they buried him. Seemingly, even the whole Jewish person needs to be in the rules of nature. And that's where Rabbi Yitzchak responded back to him, no. Because I'm learning from a pasuk. Meaning it's true that that's the way it appeared to Egyptians. If you're looking as an Egyptian from the physical world, that's true that he died. But a Jew doesn't live by the physical world. A Jew is higher than nature, higher than the way it appears to the Egyptians. So Yaakov Avinu didn't die, because I'm looking in Torah. And in Torah says that a Jew is higher than nature, and that's the real ultimate truth. As a Jew cannot die. And this is true even though we say it about Yaakov Avinu. It's really true by every Jew. And that's the idea of why he said it after the meal. Meaning, if you're living within the meal, in the middle of physicality, you have to worry about nature. But after the meal, when you're looking higher than physicality, there's higher than nature. And so Yaakov Avinu didn't die. And this is true about every Jew, that we're able to be nullified to God and don't need to actually die. But when we come to Tchias HaMesim, we're going to be revived from the dead. May we merit to see it right now with the revelation of Mashiach. L'chaim, l'chaim.